It's the CalebDMTG Gathering Show.
Howdy folks, and welcome to the CalebDMTG Magic the Gathering Show. This is a version of Mono Blue Painter that I threw together because I wanted to jam some games on my stream, but I was so excited to play some games that I decided to record a little bonus league here for you folks. No music, no camera, very bare bones. See if people like it. I was in the mood to jam some extra matches anyway, so might as well record something for the old YouTube. Let me know what you prefer in the comments in terms of all that. But yeah, I'm gonna go over the deck real quick. Saga is pretty sweet in Painter because you can actually tutor up one of the combo pieces, which is Grindstone, and then you get this nice little combo package. Brainstone I've really liked in the mono red version of the deck. Retrofitter Foundry is really good for juicing up the Saga and Urza tokens. Shadow Spear can help you if you get into a racing situation, which, you know, doesn't happen that often because you're a combo deck, but again, it's really good with the Saga and Urza tokens. And then Soul Guide Lantern in this deck is a really nice one to pick up. It can be a cantrip with Emery. Like, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Emery rebuying Mishra's Bauble every turn to draw 2 cards a turn. Well, Soul Guide Lantern can kind of play the role of Mishra's Bauble and cantrip every turn. And then it can also be made in Graveyard Hate, of course, for Dredge and stuff, Dredge and Reanimator. But there's one more important role it plays in this deck, and that's when the opponent has an Emrakul in their deck. When you activate the Grindstone and Painter's Servant to mill their whole deck, Emrakul will trigger and shuffle all their cards back, unless you can exile their graveyard. Because an Emrakul is a trigger that goes on the stack. You can respond to that trigger, and then exile all the cards in the graveyard. So the Emrakul trigger will resolve, but there won't be any cards there to shuffle back in. So you can still deck with a combo, but you have to become a 3-card combo instead of a 2-card combo. But again, that's more consistent than usual because you have Urza Saga. I tried a version of this deck out the other day with Thought Monitors, and I didn't like it very much. I'm trying it out with Urza now too. Urza as well. Urza's a little bit more juicy. See if that makes Thought Monitor better. Just like a burst of Urza mana, giving me more cards, more stuff to pitch to forces. We'll try that. The original Mono Blue Painter shell that I had Trinket Mage as another shuffle effect for Brainstorm. And this version's cutting those. It's cutting Trinket Mage. Underpowered, you know, these days. 3 mana is a lot. It might come back. It might come back to replace Thought Monitor. The cool thing about Brainstorm in this deck is that even though we only have 4 fetches, which would be light for a card like Brainstorm and Brainstone, Urza Saga is another shuffle effect. And sometimes you can work it in just because there's so much fast mana with all the petals and Mox Opals and stuff. And then you can also Grindstone yourself as a shuffle effect. And you can Emery as a shuffle effect. So you can Brainstorm, and then play an Emery, and mill 4 cards, and it acts as a shuffle, even though it's not really a shuffle. And then there's Urza Activation, but that's, you know, starting to get extremely clunky for pairing with Brainstorm, but it's a thing. Anyway, and the Brainstorms, of course, up your blue count for forces and what. Everything else is fairly intuitive, I think. The sideboard is all fairly intuitive. Walking Ballistas are mostly for death and taxes, but you bring them in against like elves and stuff too. Resculpt is it's kind of got a big downside, right? Exile target artifact or creature's controller gets a 4/4, but if your opponent is playing Stony Silence or Collector Oath, either Stony Silence effect, or I'm sorry, not Stony Silence, Null Rod or Collector Oath. Resculpt hits both of those cards, and both of those cards are really good against the Grindstone deck. So having a weird little sideboard hate card can be kind of nice. And you can always exile your Lotus Petal to make a surprise 4/4. Not that happens super often, but it's nice to have the option. And then these 3 cards are just part of the Urza Saga tutor package, board them in when necessary. Anyway, let's get into some games, huh? Why not? Alright, match 1, game 1, on the play. Hand is okay. We don't have Mox Opal yet. We can go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Activate. I think I'm supposed to run out some of this stuff. There is a Saga might let the opponent know what's up, and they might run out like a Chalice on 0, right, if they're doing something like that. Snow-Covered Island, Ponder, sure. They didn't shuffle. Do I activate now? Plays around Stifle, sort of. We're just going to be activated on our turn next turn anyway. Yeah, let's pass. Activating now turns on Mox Opal, but there's not much we can do with that mana. This Thought Monitor doesn't seem great. Like an Emery would be good in this spot. Bank control, maybe? Well, we have some pretty serious pressure to apply to a bank control opponent. Just activating in response to the Sylvan Library so I can F6 their turn. I gotta make sure to... the third Mox Opal, fun. And I'm not sure what I want here. Maybe just Retrofitter Foundry, huh? Retrofitter and Urza could kind of pop off here. Yeah, alright. Not a bad force. Let's see. Can't quite Thought Monitor. We could crack this Bobble. I don't think I want to. I think I like juicing up these constructs a little bit. They don't have white mana for Terminus, so that's one reason to be really aggressive with deploying right now. Preordain, sure. They went bottom with the Preordain. Besiege you? Oh, okay. This isn't main control at all. This is show and tell. This is Omniscience. Let's see. I think we just have lethal, right? Maybe not. Because I can force a Will of Thought Monitor. Just Veil of something, Summering to draw a card there. Looking for force. Looks like they didn't find it. And then, yeah, the constructs get to serve in for 14. So Thought Monitor, doing a lot of work there as a turn 4, add an artifact to the board. Let's see. So Flusterstorm seems good. Does Omniscience play Null Rod effects? I don't think they do. Yeah, they usually have like a Cunning Wish board, right? So I'm just going to bring in these Flusterstorms. I'm going to cut Lantern and I think Shadow Spear. Thinking if like Needle does anything. I don't think it does. Oops. Well then. I just realized my chat's on the screen. That gray box has been handled. I'm just going to submit this. Yeah, this hand's decent. So we could leave up Flusterstorm here just in case they have the nuts, which would be Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, Omniscience, Win. But I think we want to get this Emery down. It's pretty rare for them to have like all 3-card combo too with the Accelerant. Gonna crack this Bobble now because we could draw like a Force of Will, right? Just looking at my graveyard, there's Grindstone and Bobble. Since I don't have the other half of the Painter combo, I think I'm just gonna be rebuying Bobble. Just drawing some cards. Yeah, definitely. I suppose I'll play the Ancient Tomb to activate that thing. Oh, I should be bobbling myself, actually. Because if there's like a really bad card, I'd want to fetch with a Misty Rainforest. A little bit more important than activating Retro or whatever. Could also even like pass, hold up Flusterstorm, and then fetch, activate Retro on their end of turn. Or fetch, rather, before we draw the Bobble, but you know what I mean. Anyway. Well, wouldn't have shuffled that away anyway. Someone told me that Urza works well with Retrofitter. That was one reason. I wanted to give this list a spin. So opponent's at 14. I haven't attacked them. It's just Sylvan Library and a couple fetches. Again, just making my token now so I can F6. And then on my turn 3 here, I can bobble again, either myself or the opponent, run out Urza. If they force Urza, I'm not going to fight over it with Flusterstorm. They bottomed both with the Preordain, in case anyone cares. Trying to think of the, I want these baubles for mana, like activating Retrofitter. Something to think about before figuring out which land I want to play here, right? The Misty or the Island. Because I might want to bobble myself and then fetch. So the Urza will come with mana. I was thinking I could upgrade this servo into a 4/4. I think it's better to just draw cards, right? Yeah, we need to keep them from comboing. Let's just draw cards. I'm just gonna bobble myself now. Ooh, Force of Will. Nice. Well, no fetching for me anyway. Pitching Saga Restoration. Okay, yeah, definitely a Omniscience deck. Sure. If I'd known that I was going to draw a blue card to go with the Force Will, then I might have been more tempted to Flusterstorm. Because Urza is a lot of pressure. Trying to back up Urza is nice too, though. Ooh. Well, that's terrifying. I'm going to force pitch this Urza. Turn this into a Thopter. Brainstorm, nice. Okay, so I'm going to run out the fetch then. Get in for one. Draw said Brainstorm. And now the Brainstorm can let me shuffle away this island. Well, they bolted themselves for the Sylvan Library. Opponent's actually pretty close to dead, because the Retrofitter Foundry... I mean, I guess we have Lethal on board, because we can untap Foundry and activate to make another 1/1. There's the Show and Tell. Let's see. Yeah, let's use up this Flusterstorm with Brainstorm. Nice. Alright, round 2. Hand looks gassy. Because we can turn one the Emery with Force Will back up here. I could turn on the Painter's Servant if we wanted to. I don't know what that does for me, though. Once we pitch the side onto the Force instead of Thought Monitor. Force Will pitching Expressive Iteration. Do I want to get in a counter battle over Emery? Suppose. Suppose, huh? They wouldn't be forcing if they didn't have a, if they had an answer handy, right? If they had like a bolt handy, they would just let the Emery resolve and bolt it. Interesting. Is this like a Rug Allurin list? Rug Allurin playing Expressive Iteration? Maybe it's just a Rug list with Living Wish for utility. I put him on a blue-red tempo with a weird hand when they went Force Will pitch Expressive, but... Tutoring for Uro. Super interesting. When I was playing Bug Allurin, I had Uro in the sideboard of my Wishboard. Backup Emery. Another Living Wish, sure. Tempted to run out another Red Marine just to like mill 4 here. Because we hit Grindstone, we have a win next turn. Yeah, alright. I kind of hate it. We've done Grindstone anyway. Maybe I'm supposed to target myself with that Bauble. And then if I like the card, I don't Emrain. If I don't like it, I fire it off. Yep. Uro as expected. Urza, interesting. Do we think they're a Daze deck? Do we try and play around Daze? We know that one of their 3 cards is Living Wish. 2 unknowns after that. I think I'm just going to jam this Urza. Nice. Am I supposed to Shadow Spear equip? Probably not. I guess I can tap the Painter's Servant and the Shadow Spear to have it equip itself and then still crack the Bauble. Or I could tap the Bauble and serve in for 2. I don't think that does anything though. I think I want to draw with the Bauble. Get me closer to Grindstone. And do I want to be equipping the Painter? It protects it from a Bolt. If they top a deck of Bolt is the reason to equip there, as opposed to equipping the Construct. But I could see it being wrong. The reason to crack the Bauble on my turn is if we're worried about like Hull Reacher in our set. Yeah, alright. They're just fetching here because they don't want me to have a known card, right? Like I would have known that they would have a Ponder on top, and now I don't. Bring back Uro. They are. Nice. Uro's so good. What a good card. Interesting. Oh, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. Ooh, how do we feel about that? I think I go for the Force Will. Keep my draw engine going. What? What did I do? There we go. Maybe I was clicking too fast or something. This does stop me from attacking with a Construct this turn, but I don't know. It's going to take a lot to kill them with damage anyway, with their Uro gaining them life and what. If we get if we get to untap with Retrofitter and Urza, that should lead to a lot of 1/1s here too. We'll see. See if it plays out like I'm thinking. So we're going to draw a fetch. I'm going to play it and crack it. Rebuy another bauble. Maybe move the Shadow Spear over to the construct. Maybe where it should have been originally. I don't know. Lightning Bolt entered the exiled zone. Oh, to the iteration. They're going to bolt my Emery here. Sure. Makes my Force of Will on the Endurance a little bit worse. Ooh, Unholy Heat clearing the Urza too. That's bad for me. Do a bit of this, I suppose. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should be cracking this bauble or not. Again, gets me closer to Grindstone, but leaving in play pumps up this construct some. I was hoping to get to do silly things with Urza plus Retrofitter. They still have a Living Wish, right? They probably have an answer to the construct in their board. Oh, I bet they've got that Oath card. Yeah, that card's just gonna beat me here, isn't it? Nope, Rex Sage. Okay. Definitely gonna crack the bauble then. Interesting. Well, let's see if this resolves. It does not. Bummer. Gonna do a block sack. Block the Uro, sack it to the Retrofitter, get a Thopter, untap the Retrofitter, turn the Thopter into a 4/4. That's the plan here. Oh, they are Illyrian. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and they can fetch a basic to give this thing Death Touch. Not too shabby. Do I play and sack this Brainstone, or do I just stick around making 1/1s and stuff? I think I want to run the Brainstone out, but then don't sacrifice it. Yep, they're just fetching. Give the thing Death Touch. I gain a little bit of life. Sure. So I know the top card of our library is Ancient Tomb. Yep. Suppose I'll do this. No, I think I cranked this Grindstone, or Brainstone rather. How many forces did they burn? Just one? I bet there's a hard cast Forcible for this Urza. We do have an Urza Saga handy. Yeah, alright. Resolves, interesting. I don't think I tap any of this. Well. Alright, I'll put. Well. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I want to leave that one untapped specifically. Yeah, I'll just pass then. I want to put the Shadow Spear on the card construct, but everything's a little awkward. I could just spin. Nah, because then I don't have blocks handy. I want to either do the block sack thing with the servo again, or I want to put the card construct in front of it, which means I don't want to tap either of those for the Shadow Spear. And if they do somehow answer one of them, I don't want the painters, like if they have an Unholy Heat for the Urza, and clear the card construct somehow. Then I want to have the Painter Servant up. I think the Painter Servant taps the safest, though, if I do want to tap something. Do like that. And this Urza Saga can grab a Grindstone all by its lonesome. I wonder if the Shadow Spear is supposed to be on the Painter's Servant then. Yeah, they don't mind attacking this Urza into my card construct here for a couple of different reasons. One, being that they just have plenty of stuff in their graveyard to rebuy. Two, random cards that they draw could just win them the game with a Lurin. And then three, they might have a Bolt to finish off this construct. The reason to play the other Uro before damage is to deny me the life gain. Clever little bit of timing there. One reason to potentially not have equipped the Shadow Spear is I could then have a spin here. I could have a spin from the Urza to try and hit Force of Will very specifically. Pretty unlikely because we've already burned 3 forces, but would have given me a chance. Anyway, when they have 4 mana, people that have caught my Allurin videos know that the Archlich plus Allurin is going to kill me here. Going to save the opponent some clicks. Interesting game. I don't think my sideboard does much for me. I don't think I want this Shadow Spear. I think we can cut that one. I might leave in the Soul Guide Lantern just to hit Uro, because clearly they have a few of those. Bringing in Hydroblasts and Blue Elemental Blast could be okay. They clearly like have some red interaction. They're probably boarding in Rebs too. Yeah, I like that actually. And the Painter's Servant, we can always play Painter's Servant on red if we want to like Hydroblast a... an Alurin or what have you. And maybe we'll cut the Soul Guide Lantern then. And one last cut, either Monitor or... I wonder if I win that game if I don't like run out the extra Emery. If I chill on it. Could have been a game-winning play if we'd found Grindstone, though. We'd find it a little bit earlier in the game, huh? I'm gonna cut the LED, I guess. LED is mostly in here for a Urza Saga hit when I like needed to activate Grindstone. Comes up sometimes. Doesn't seem like this is gonna be that kind of a matchup, though. And Resculpt is sort of an option. If they'd shown me Collector Oath, that first game, then I'd be all about the Resculpt. It's so weird for them to not have it. Yeah, maybe I should just bring in one or two. So you play the Ancient Tomb, then you can run out both 1-drops and have Hydroblast up, but I don't think turn 1 Hydroblast is going to matter here at all. And playing the Saga on 1 lets me activate on 2 off the Ancient Tomb. One of the reasons I like these Saga decks. Fun line. Oh, well, Do we just try and jam Painter's Servant then? I feel like no. I feel like I should get some Saga value. All the value's good. Well... it's close, I think. To activate Urza's Saga or run out this Painter's Servant. I cut the LED, so next turn I can't Painter's Servant plus activate from the Saga. Yeah, I'm gonna play it, I guess. Name red, pass the turn. And they kind of need to do something. If they just play a land and pass back, I'm going to tap the Urza Saga for mana, and then with the mana floating, I guess I'd go and get Lotus Petal so I could pay for days. Doesn't this, like, not matter at all? Find out. I think they're going to Endurance themselves to get their graveyard back in and give themselves another turn here. I think that's their plan. It's a clever plan. It would mean that they would have to untap and then be able to answer either Grindstone or Painter's Servant. Maybe this Hydroblast is bad. Because now if they have an answer to the Painter's Servant, they would actually be able to, like if they had Bolt for Painter's Servant there, they actually, like, counter the Hydroblast too, and then it wouldn't have any protection for the Painter's Servant. I think I was actually just supposed to let the Endurance resolve. But they didn't have a Bolt. They had a Reb, so that's fortunate. I think this iteration has to find another Endurance. I don't think it can find an answer to Painter's Servant anymore. So he's on tap, activate again. Jeez. Fair enough. Okay. I like they're waiting until I activated too. Yeah, it was a good Force of Vigor. I wonder if they found that off of the Expressive. They must have, right? If I had activated on their upkeep, then Force of Vigor wouldn't have been an out. Because if they try and Force of Vigor on my end of turn, I can respond by grindstoning them. The issue with that, though, is then again, like, they could have found a Bolt for the Painter's Servant. And then you're running into much more common things than Force of Vigor plus green card. When they would have played Force of Vigor the turn previous if they had it, right? So they had to have found it off the Expressive. Okay. Well, let's see if Urza can resolve. Painter's Servant's a very good card here. Very good card. I'm just going to pass and activate this Saga. Heck of a card, that Expressive Iteration, huh? How do I feel about double blocking Uro? I think I like it because it might bait some removal. And if they let the trade happen and want to bring back Uro, then that, like, taps it out of mana. Either line, I think, is fine. They do have 4 card types in the graveyard. And pretty much regardless of what they do here, we're going to float a mana with Urza Saga and go get Grindstone. Interesting. It would seem like just like trading the Uro with a token and then killing the Urza is better. Or keeping up the Unholy Heat. Maybe they have another thing for this painter specifically. Well, I drew a land. Does that change anything? Yeah, I think I do activate actually. Because we have this Urza. We can go like land, play Painter Servant, then tap the Painter Servant and the other stuff to activate the Grindstone. Dang. Well, now what? Well, they don't have lethal in play. Should we spin? I don't hate spinning. Double dang. Taking 6 here puts me dead to bolt. That's fine. I don't think they're playing 4 bolts. Could be mistaken. Vomit. I guess I just pass here. Uro getting them so many cards. I wonder if I should be playing Uro and Painter. No shuffle required. These ancient tombs, so painful. I think I'm just activating the Saga. Blocking. It seems so miserable. We can't Hail Mary spin Urza into a Painter's Servant for the win here. We just like don't have enough mana because we can't tap both tombs. Next turn maybe. Like activate Saga, chump. They've drawn so many fucking cards. The mid-combat brainstorm. Here to ruin my day. Expressive so damn good. Almost worth hard casting a Force of Will on. Do we let that one resolve? I don't know. God damn it. Yeah, I think I'm just fucked. Possible I'm supposed to, like, make a Saga token to jump there. Possible I'm supposed to, like, try and block with Urza here and get another card. They were pretty far behind. There's a rough spot. Alright, here we are, round 3. Lost the die roll. Got a pretty solid looking opener. Question is whether we lead on Saga or lead on turn 1 Emery, right? Opponent's pondering. Didn't shuffle. I feel like I should get the Saga rolling as soon as possible, since I've got the Painter's Servant handy already. So even though we could have a technically more explosive turn 1, I think this is just solid. And then next turn we can brainstorm and then use Emery to as a shuffle, so to speak. Or we're going to activate Saga if we want to. Ooh, is this Doomsday? Thoughtseize. Oh, sure. If they need the Painter's Servant, like the Emery can just get it back, so it's kind of whatever. Underground Sea Island does make me think Doomsday, but we'll see. Usually Doomsday isn't a 4 Thoughtseize deck because they do use their life total for Doomsday itself. That said, it's not rare at all to play like 1 or 2. Sometimes you want it for a Doomsday pile. Yeah, I'm gonna brainstorm an Emery. Ugh. I was looking for like Painter's Servants or Force of Wills or fast mana, you know. So right now that's what we're missing to be able to win next turn. A little bit of fast mana. I guess we're there with the Ancient Tomb. We need to survive their turn though. And potentially beat a counter on Painter's Servant. Ancient Tomb? Never mind. This doesn't look like Doomsday at all. Interesting. Usually I only see Drawn from Dreams in Omniscience, like Show and Tell type decks. So maybe this is a Show and Tell brew. Just playing black for Thoughtseize instead of green for Veil of Summer and Library. Cool. So they do need to have a counter. They do need to find a Force of Will off this Drawn from Dreams for me not to have a win next turn. Because we can float a mana with the Urza's Saga, have that tutor up a Grindstone, play the Ancient Tomb, get use the Emery to rebuy Painter's Servant. Activate. Oh, that doesn't fucking win here, does it? Because they have Emrakul in their deck. Shoot. We're going to need one more piece of the combo. We're going to need a Graveyard Hate card. Change of plans. Alright, let's stack this Urza Saga Shuffle. Fire off Brainstorm. And hopefully I'm right about their deck. Or getting Lantern here. It'd be pretty silly, right? You're supposed to get Painter's Servant back. If they deal with the Emery, there's 2 Painter's Servants in the bin and only 1 Grindstone, so we're more likely to naturally draw another Grindstone. The good news is, if all they do is show and tell in and Emrakul, that won't be good enough here. They need to have, like, Grizzlebrand into Force of Will, or Omniscience Emrakul. Almost have enough permanents to potentially play through an Emrakul attack. 4 mana. Narset. Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting. Well, they are playing Show and Tell. I feel a little less silly. Can I hardcast Force of Will to protect Painter's Servant? I don't think so. Yeah, my mana short. That's a bummer. Another reason to do what Painter's Servant did last turn instead of Grindstoned. Oh, but that resolves. Awesome. Well. Might as well do this then. And they do have an Emrakul in the deck. So this is the spot where the Soul Guide Lantern's really important. And they are playing green. They have Abrupt Decays in there too. Interesting. So then we exile their graveyard before the Emrakul trigger resolves, and then it doesn't have anything to shuffle back in. Really important step in that combo. So if I hadn't put them on Show and Tell, and taken that middle step of getting the Lantern, and if I had just gone for the combo, I still would have had the Painter's Servant and the Soul Guide and the Grindstone in play to potentially combo again if I find another Soul Guide Lantern. But it takes so long to tutor for a Lantern, right? I need to let another Urza Saga go through all the steps again. Whereas we had a Grindstone in the graveyard already for the Emery to get back. Cool. So, second Show and Tell matchup. We're once again going to be bringing Flusterstorms. Shadow Spear's coming out. I think it's our second Show and Tell matchup. I don't know. My poor brain, my poor soggy noggin. Do we leave in the Lantern? Yeah, of course we do. Do we bring in Tormod's Crypt? just like increase the. It's a 3-card combo now, right? We need Painter's Servant and Grindstone, and a graveyard hitter. So maybe that means I want the Tormod's Crypt in as well. Because if I naturally draw a Lantern or Crypt, then I can tutor for the Grindstone. I don't have to spend the Saga tutoring for one of those. More likely to get it with Emery too. So Flusterstorms come in. What comes out? LED again? We can cut LED again. Possible the deck shouldn't even be playing an LED. And then I think I'm going to cut a Thought Monitor. Yeah. Cool. On the draw for game 2. Sure. It's not super impressive, but Flusterstorm is a good card in the matchup, and we do have a turn 1 Emery. So I don't think it's a mulligan. Thoughtseize taking Emery could be good. Because the Urza's not coming down for a bit. Ponder, sure. And just like the last time we faced Show and Tell, I'm just going to lead on Emery on turn 1, rather than hold up Flusterstorm, just in case they have the nuts. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Mill to Bauble, nice. Getting a Bauble back next turn turns on the Opals, and I can actually play a Urza on turn 2. And then Urza can tap for Flusterstorm, because it comes with a Construct. If they Thoughtseize me, do I force a will? Well, they didn't anyway. They didn't shuffle with the Ponder. Ooh, sure. So they're just going to sack that, nuke my graveyard. Or, I mean, I guess they can sack in response to the Emery activation. Weird. Oh, maybe they think I'm playing draw 7s, and they think Tormod's Crypt is is good because of that. All this Emery is doing is rebuying this Mishra's Bauble. That's that's all I needed to do this game. If I go LED crack and flashback a draw 7, the Tormod's Crypt doesn't get a chance to get it anyway. Because I don't pass priority. Maybe they're hoping to get something more important. Do I crack this Bauble? I don't think so. Right now we can use that mana to play Brainstorm, which could be useful to juice up a Flusterstorm. Like right now we're passing the 2 mana up instead of just 1 by not cracking the Bauble. We can always crack it on their end of turn, if you want to have the card by our next turn. Yeah, ponder away. I chose not to shuffle, but they do have a fetch. Dress. I'm just going to Flusterstorm that. Oh, what color do I want this Painter's Servant to name? I guess I'll name Bloom. Torrent Script looks gorgeous as a blue card, actually. Cracking this doesn't adjust my clock at all. And now we can pitch the Polluted Delta to the Force of Will, if that's the thing that we want to do. Is the incentive to name blue there with the Painter's Servant. Huh. So we could spin as a shuffle. See, they're at 10. Suppose that works. Nice. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have corrected that bobble. Ooh, on the play, huh? Round 4. Do I like this? I don't know. It seems less explosive than our earlier draws. That said, we have a fetch and a brainstorm. That's kind of nice. And a Force of Will. Having a Force of Will in hand is just comfy. It's like a security blanket. I'm actually going to lead off on bobbling myself. Another brainstorm, huh? Do I fetch that away? I don't think so. Still running out Misty, because the Seat of the Synod can get wastelanded. Summoner's Pact. Interesting. The opponent's going for a turn 1 win. They grabbed a Wild Cantor. So they're casting off Simian Spirit Guide. So this must be some kind of Belcher, huh? I'm going to force this Dark Ritual. Not Belcher, but Pact of Negation. That other all-in deck. One of them. Maybe Oops All Spells. Well, did not in fact find another force. Yeah. And there's the mana to activate it. Nice. Well met, opponent. We even had a Force Will for him. Yeah, I definitely would have kept that hand knowing the matchup. I wonder if I would have fired off turn 1 Brainstorm. I don't think so. Anyway, the way that Oops All Spells wins is they've milled their whole deck now with Undercity Informer because they don't have any. Excuse me. They don't have any lands, right? That's why they're using Summoner's Pacts and Spirit Guides and what. And then they flashback a Dread Return on a Thassa's Oracle. And then that wins because they have no library. just going through it for folks that have not seen that combo before. Let's bring in Needle. We can name one of them. The 4-mana creature just like automatically does it, but we can shut off the 3-mana 1 plus activate, plus 1 mana to activate that they just played there. So that's nice. And then Crypt comes in, Grafdigger's Cage. The blasts are actually kind of interesting, but you need like a really fast Painter Servant for them to be relevant, so I don't think they're coming in. Shadow Spear is obviously not great. Retrofitter Foundry is not great. They just win way too fast. I'd like to leave as many blue cards in for Force of Will as I can, but I'd also like to keep as fast of a combo win as I can. So I think that means I'm going to end up cutting either some number of Urzas or Thought Monitors or both. How many blue cards are we at? 17. That is the base. Maybe we cut some baubles. Maybe we just like don't have time to be cracking baubles in this matchup at all. Yeah, let's leave one more blue card in for Force of Will. Okay. Turn 1 kill with Pact of Negation backup. The Dream. This Force of Will would be nice if if we had a blue card to go with it. They're going to be expecting Forces post-board too, so... This one we can keep. I either want to bin the Lotus Petal or the LED. Just thinking here for a sec. Let's go ahead and bin... The LED could give me a turn 2 win if I were to draw Painter Servant specifically. Is why that's a tank there. We're going to lead on Urza's Saga. Which is worse if they have the green forest, because then they can hit that with the Soul Guide Lantern. Oh, they revealed Chancellor the Annex, but they're only on 4 cards. Okay. So I'm going to play Lotus Petal into the Chancellor and let it get countered. And that's just a one-time ability. Important thing to note. We want to get this Urza Saga rolling so we can go find like a Grafdigger's Cage or whatever. I don't know if I've seen Chancellor out of their deck. Fair enough. To game 3 we go. So the issue about being on the draw in game 3 is that if they don't mulligan to 4, and they have a turn 1 kill, that we like really need to have Force of Will. Like on the play, we could keep a hand that had like a Tormod script, right? Even if we don't have Force of Will, but on the draw, that doesn't do it if they have a turn 1 kill. Kind of awkward. We'll see. Hopefully their deck just loses to itself again. God, they kept their opening 7. This hand is so good if they like mull a bit and you think they're not going to kill on turn 1. Because we can go Ancient Tomb, Grafdigger's Cage, Grindstone, Mox Opal, and then Mox Opal protects. There's a chance that they don't have a turn 1 kill, and they're just keeping because they've got like Artifact Hate, which his name is like kind of okay against. Like they play the green Force of Virtue or Vigor or whatever it is. We can like Flusterstorm it. I might be talking myself into keeping a bad hand, but we'll see. Oh, they were mulliganing. Interesting. They went to 4 again. I think it used to. I should be. Maybe I should have the game log up. Yeah, it shows that they mulliganed, but like it still shows 7 in hand because they haven't put cards back yet. I'm just used to it showing in their hand size on the screen still. Just a boomer. And again, we want to get theirs as Saga down as soon as possible so that it can tutor for Graftear's Cage as soon as possible. Yeah, the fact that they mulled the 4 and we have a Flusterstorm to like counter a ritual or whatever, it's a really good sign. Oh, hey, Yeah, so we activate Grindstone now, and then we still have Flusterstorm as backup. Cool. On to the final round. All right, final round. Currently 3-1, so we've locked up a prize. It's just whether we have like a decent prize or basically break even. We're gonna keep this on the draw, I think. Hand's not exceptional or anything like that, but we can do turn 1 Grindstone, turn 2 Activate if we want, or turn 2 Emery, depending on the matchup. Turn 1 Preordain off of the Trop. Could be a whole lot of different decks. Going Trop Preordain. They bottomed. I might hold this Mishra's Bauble to combine with Fetch or Lotus Petal's a bad sign. I don't think we can beat Nemrical. Zurza can let me drop a lot of stuff into play, though. If I draw like a Lotus Petal here or something. Cracking the Mishra's Bauble would lose me would increase the chance that I hit like a Mox or a Lotus Petal, but would also make me lose a permanent. What if I crack the Bauble and try and hit LED? There's only one LED, so like the odds of that are pretty low. But it would give me a win with Painter's Servant. Yeah, I'm mana short, huh? And I call it mana short playing the Urza. Not that I think Urza does anything. Kind of feels like they've got a Force Will in hand. You'd like tanking on this Mox Opal. Spell Pierce, sure. That's not a bad one to pierce. We're just dead, right? Might as well scoop. How many permanents can I make? Not enough. The Naked turn to Show and Tell, put Emrakul into play with Spell Pierce back. I guess it's not Naked, they had Spell Pierce backup, yeah. This is my third Show and Tell opponent in a row, or in this league. That's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot of Show and Tell. I'm playing at a different time than I normally do. That might be part of it. Was I cutting Retrofit earlier? I think I was cutting LED earlier. Even though it would have been absurd there. Do I want Needle for Grizzlebrand? I don't, but like maybe I do. I'll play it. Maybe a Retrofitter. Oh, I still need one more cut. Hers is kind of slow. Oof. Is this hand any good at all? Leans really hard on this Brainstorm, doesn't it? I don't know if I like that. We can like turn 1 Saga, Needle Grizzlebrand, Mox Opal, and then turn 2 Seed of the Synod, Activators of Saga. I don't know how good that is. Let's try it out. In the name of experimentation. Or I'm supposed to be naming Misty Rainforest. I think I have a couple of those in my deck. Yep. They did shuffle with the Ponder. Just passing here. If they do go Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, we can like Brainstorm and look for a Flusterstorm or a Force. But ideally, we would just be activating here. Get some pressure on the board. Can this hand beat an Emrakul? We definitely can't beat Omniscience and Emrakul. Can we beat an actual factual Emrakul? Urza and Urza Saga would be making 2 5/5s or something. Yeah, it just doesn't seem likely. Alright, let's Brainstorm. Interesting. Do you let the Show and Tell resolve? Put Painter's Servant into play. Saga gets Grindstone. I think we just still Force a Will. Oh, interesting. They'd have Sexed. Well, Grindstone doesn't do it, because they still have Emrakuls in their deck, that's right. Maybe I put Painter Grindstone together and they scoop. I don't think so, but maybe. I have had opponents do that before. Maybe they drew their one Emrakul. Like they're show and telling here. Well, I have Needle on Grizzlebrand. Maybe they only have one Emrakul and they drew it. God, that's so unlikely. That's just so unreasonably unlikely. The last list I looked at was playing like 3 Emrakuls. Yeah, one's kind of an uncommon number. I feel like if I'm doing this, I should have activated the Saga for a Saga token. Brainstorm, sure. Yeah, having to be a 3-card combo instead of a 2-card. Certainly worse. Although we did beat our 2 other show and tell opponents. I grabbed the Soul Guide Lantern instead of Tormod Script in case I need to YOLO cycle it, of course. Just a slightly better card. Yeah, I definitely should have activated that Saga. I thought I was going to get Grindstone and go for the win, but it's pretty late. Pretty tired. Recording this after I've already rendered my VODs for the day and done a full stream and all that stuff. Just for funsies. I feel like playing some Painter. Yeah, anyone that watches it this far, be sure to let me know in the comments if you like this format. No music, no camera. Show and tell number 2 coming in. Red mana. Sneak attack. Oh, they definitely have. They definitely have multiple Emrakuls then. Okay. Well, it kind of seems like we have one turn to top deck a what's the word? A win. I need a win here. That's not gonna do it. He was supposed to crack the lantern. If we had known that they were blue-red sneak and show, then the Hydroblasts would have come in. But we didn't have that info, right? I think the average show and tell opponent is still playing blue-green. We played against 3 different flavors. Yep. Oh, GG's. Dang. Well, just a little 3-1. That's alright. We'll still get to jam some games with the deck. The Grindstone was a little bit more awkward in this version than the mono red version. It was a little bit less necessary for card filtering and stuff. I never really wanted to go get it. This version of the deck, being mono blue and having brainstorms and Emerys and Urzas, Kind of seems like it has a lot more selection going on already. Let's see. The 2/2 that draws 2 cards has been pretty bad. This is the second time I've tried it out in Mono Blue Painter, and it wasn't very good there. In either time I played it. So I think going forward, the main change I'll make is cutting these thought monitors and playing a 4th Emery, 4th Urza. I'm not sure what I want the last card to be. I kind of want it to be a blue card. Maybe Trinket Mage. Trinket Mage is another shuffle effect for Brainstorm. That could be okay. Anyway. Thanks for watching, folks.